Crypto Hotep here with another investing video. Guys, we are on week 14 of the family portfolio with M1 Finance. And if you're unfamiliar with the family portfolio, please do yourself a favor. Go to my channel, check out video number 1, which goes over the methodology that I made for these tracking videos. In a nutshell, these videos are to track the progress of investing with my family and just track the journey, the ups, the downs, feelings, emotions. What do we do when certain things happen, and just analyzing stocks, and also teaching myself as well as my family about dividend stocks and just trying to create that passive form of income. So I did create a short list of stocks for my family to choose from. After I did some research, they chose their stocks, and then we used the broker M1 Finance to implement this plan. And why M1 Finance is good is you can create individual pies within your main portfolio, and each pie I have designates to a specific member in my family and their desired stocks. So that's in it in a nutshell. Before we begin, though, PSA: nothing we say here is any financial advice. Please do your due diligence and consult a professional before you trade or invest into stocks, crypto, precious metals, anything that's volatile. DYOR. Do your own research. And with that being said, guys, as always, we go to the week prior before we look forward to the current week. In the week prior, we were sitting at 682.22. We were up over 8%, which was good. Our dividends have been year to date clocking in at $3.54. So this week, we are at 685.53. Our weighted return for year to date is over 7%, so 7.79%. And we've had an increase in our dividends at $4.12. I'm not going to lie, this week was a pretty good week for stocks. It's been a pretty good week for stocks. It's been very volatile. But we'll go into the activity here. Okay, so the activity, we have a little bit of activity from the last time that we looked at this portfolio last week. So from that time, that we last spoke, we've had a couple dividend activities as well as a stock split. Okay, so with the dividend activities, we've had a dividend payment from Moody's. This is one of my stocks in my pie of the portfolio here, so 3 cents. We also had a stock split with Nvidia. So I hold Nvidia in the tech sector of my portfolio. Nvidia had a stock split happen over, I don't want to say over the weekend, but it was trading at about a tenth of the price that it was trading at last Friday on Monday. So I believe it almost cracked 1,000, and right now it is sitting, I want to say, at around 144 or so. So in essence, basically, you essentially would get in a stock split, it chops up your shares, and so you do get more shares, but the cost of the stock goes down, so it all evens out in the end. Okay. Also, we had a dividend payment from Chevron at 10 cents, a dividend payment from Target at 5 cents, and then there's that stock split. And I do nothing with this. The brokerage handles this piece of the stock split, so I do nothing. I just hold the stock. Exxon, we had a payment of 6 cents, and then Microsoft, we had a payment of 2 cents. Okay, and let's do a deep dive into our portfolios here. So mom's stocks, so my wife's stocks. So she is unfortunately at the bottom this week. This this is probably one of the only times during our recordings that my wife's stocks have been at the bottom. The main reason, before I click into her stock, I'm pretty sure I know why. It's because of the Celsius decline that has happened. So let's see if I'm correct in this. But it has had a decline within the past couple weeks or so. So currently, year to date, now my wife is down over almost 6.5%. Um, but majority of that being Celsius, as I mentioned, down over 27% with Celsius. I'm still not concerned about this. The correction was bound to happen with Celsius, as I've said before. We're just waiting for it to happen. Let me just click in here right now. So if we look at Celsius, Celsius is trading at about, I want to say $62.05. Um, Again, this was a stock that was up considerably. Let's do a little deeper dive in here. So if we look at Celsius and let's go to a monthly chart, you can see here, we'll go to a 3 month. We can see here the rise up. It was almost at 100. I think it peaked at around 96. Yeah, about 96.09. And then from that point, that was close to mid to late May. Then we see the rapid decline here, passing the 60s, passing the 70s, and into the 60s here. Okay. Again, I'm not really concerned with this with Celsius. If you look at year to date numbers, they're still up 13%, which is phenomenal. And I think Celsius is still a good company, and love the product. So not too worried with my wife's position on that. Google, Google's going to keep Googling, up over 22%, very similar to last week. And then Pepsi, we are actually down, for down over 4%, 4.25%. Again, not worried about Pepsi. They had a recent headline come out, I believe it was last week, that they were or that I think Dr. Pepper was overtaking Pepsi as the number two soda maker in the United States. So my wife does have some dividend earnings. Would like to see what's this. Okay, so Pepsi and Google. Very cool. Okay, let us go back. So not too worried with my wife's stocks. Um, and we'll just continue to watch Celsius, but not too concerned about that. We're still buying Celsius. Let's go to our middle stocks. Middle up over 7%. Have a little bit of dividends here, and our middle just kind of riding high off of Costco. Costco up over 17%. You love to see it. I want to jump right into Costco really quickly here. And we're going to go to the monthly chart. And we'll go to the 3 month. As you can tell, with Costco, a lot of people called Costco dead around $722. They said that the ride was over, that it was done. Costco had a different viewpoint here. Not only did it scoff at that, it literally added another over $100 to the stock price within a month. Love Costco. So our middle, so riding high off of Costco, and Nintendo, or no, not Costco and Nintendo, but Costco and Amazon, 1%. Okay. Let's go to our youngest. I'm pretty sure our youngest is benefiting a little bit from Tesla. Okay, Tesla up over 8%. Apple having a monstrous week right now, and we'll get to some news articles with Apple. But a monstrous week, up over 27% in our youngest portfolio. and then Nintendo down almost at 1%, very similarly to our middle. Okay. And then our oldest is up. So this is the highest position that our oldest has held during these recaps. So our oldest up over 8.25%. I think this is our oldest highest rate of return year to date. Dividends, about a quarter for dividends. And as always, we keep it simple with our oldest. Apple, McDonald's, very easy. And again, benefiting off of Apple's big week here, up a staggering 31%, almost 32% on the Apple position. And then last but not least, we will go into mine. Let's see what we have here. So year to date, up over 3.5%. I have several dividends, about $3.68. My portfolio honestly has just kind of been the little engine that just keeps going and going and going here. As to no one's surprise, technology is blowing by every one of my other sectors. Up over 16% combined, the tech sector is. Primarily Apple and Nvidia, I am pretty sure. Okay. So Apple up over 31%, Nvidia up over 42%, Coinbase up over 5.5%, Google up over 32%, Microsoft up over 9%, Amazon 5%, and Broadcom over 52%, hitting new all-time highs this week. Now, AMD, we are still buying AMD down over 25%. That's okay with me. We have enough big hitters here to hold them up, so I'm not really worried about that. Meta down about 0.22%, so almost a point of or a quarter of a percent, if you will. Not really worried about that with Meta either, because we have closed the gap. Meta was down further last week with my portfolio. So technology doing really well, and obviously they are the catalyst for my portfolio here. Okay. Consumer staples surprisingly is a little down here, but if we look at real estate, this is surprising. Let's see what we have for real estate. Yeah, both real estate, so public storage and then federal realty investment FRT. We are up. Public storage up over 4.5%. Love to see that. And let's see. Let's check out farm or consumer staples here. So consumer staples down almost half of a percent, if you will. Let's see what's dragging it down. Okay, so we have Target. Target was down over 16%. That makes sense. Clorox surprisingly is down over 11.5%. I wonder why. That's interesting. The only thing I can see is potential headwinds with just like high costs, but nothing really. There's really no news articles with Clorox that are standing out. So that's really, I'm wondering why that's down that much. Down over 5% with Kroger. Not worried about that. Lowe's. Not really worried about that. And up over 9% with TJ Maxx. Okay. And so collectively as a family, our portfolio has ending balance this week of 685.53. We are up over 7.5% at 7.9 or 7.79%. And year to date, we've earned $4.12 in dividends. Not bad for a small account. I will say that. Now, there are a couple things to keep in mind that happened this week. So this week, Apple had their annual WWDC event, and you'll see that a lot of talk has been on Apple because of the announcement that they made in concerns with AI. it's funny because a lot of companies, if you mention AI, their stock goes up. Apple's no different. So Apple mentioned that they were going to incorporate ChatGPT into, I would say, future updates potentially for OS. And that just, the markets loved it. And that propelled Apple's stock even further, up over $200 now, and has stayed there for almost this whole week now. So that's great to hear with Apple. And we have also, one of the biggest things is the Fed. So Jerome Powell said, or the Fed actually kept rates the same. So they held interest rates steady instead of cutting them or bringing them down with this latest FOMC that happened this week. And they did revise their target to one rate cut this year instead of the potential of having two. Okay. Despite that, though, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ have hit all-time highs. I want to say today's Thursday. I believe they've hit all-time highs at least 2 out of the 4 days this week, which has been phenomenal. And if you want, we can quickly look at this chart here. So again, this is the S&P 500. This is VU, which is, as we spoke last week, the Vanguard S&P 500. And again, all-time highs have been hit. All-time highs were hit on, I believe that was Monday. All-time highs were hit on, I want to say it was either Monday or Tuesday, and then they were hit on Wednesday as well. But in general, this is another reason why I said in my last video, if you're new to stocks and you're not really sure where to go and what to choose from, just invest in S&P. Just invest into the S&P, into VU, and just DCA into it regularly, and your money will thank you. It's S&P's chart is like a work of art. It has dips, of course. Every price or every asset will, but in the long term, which is what you should be looking at when you're investing, we are consistently in an uptrend. Okay. But with that being said, guys, I will cut this video. And as always, if this video has helped you in any type, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what I didn't cover, what you would like to cover, what you need more info on. And thank you, guys. And as always, happy investing.